Well, let's talk about this real quick because there's a lot of talk about where these weapons came from, right? We spoke briefly. We talked about the CBS report that 70% of the weapons weren't making it to the front line.
And then there's the CNN News. Not sure where all the weapons are going, U.S. says. We don't have boots on the ground to tell us where they're going.
No, well, Elizabeth Warren and Dick Blumenthal and Lindsey Graham went to Kiev to see where those weapons are going, but they really didn't give us an answer.
Oh, I thought it was a different general. CBS withdrew the story because they're going to amend it later, and I don't know what became of it.
So there have been a lot of talks what's going on. A lot of people are saying the fact that Iran and the money we just gave them back, that was their money, we released their money, is actually where it went to buying weapons and whatnot. A lot of people are politicizing this left and right. A lot of people are saying they're coming from Ukraine. But I just want to point out really quickly that this is a problem we've had for quite some time. If you talk about Syria, what was happening in Syria, every single faction out there was being funded by some type of Western entity, whether it be the Pentagon, the State Department. They were arming all sides, right?
Yeah, we were
ISIS, Al Qaeda, Al Nusra,
in Syria.
They were every single side. So there's been a plethora of weapons out there because that's what we do. We give these weapons out. We hand them. We don't know where they're going, and eventually, when they end up in different hands, we start pointing the finger and politicizing it.
A year ago, when we covered that story, CBS, this is according to CBS, and the guy, I can't remember his last name, was maybe Omar. He ran it. It's called Blue and Yellow. And he said about 70% of the weapons, we don't know where they go because the oligarchs here take them. And so we sent a lot of weapons over there. The description of the weapons we sent that we're missing seems pretty close to the ones that are popping up all over the world.
Place, yeah.
Little bit of a Fast and Furious tracking. You probably figure it out.
Look at this spin over here, because this is great. Because if you got to blame Russia at the end of the day, this is the way you do it. It's being reported that Russia, this is Ed Krassenstein, Russia is handing over American-made weapons to Hamas militants as a way to try to discredit Ukraine and America.
Wait, and that was my joke at the time. I was like, Ukraine better not be selling these to Russia because that will really take the piss, so to speak.
Well, they're trying to say that the weapons that Russia has taken, has confiscated, that are going over there, they've been handing them over to Hamas militants.
What about the 70% that were just missing, though, before they got
into the
battlefield?
A lot of them ended up in Russian oligarchs' hands or Russia's hands, and they supposedly gave them to Hamas. That's what they're trying to insinuate. If true, this means Russia should be viewed as an ally of the Hamas terrorists. Get ready for some Russian propaganda that will be pushed by some U.S. media. These are weapons that the Russians have taken from Ukraine in the course of the war. They allegedly plan to blame the Ukraine for selling the weapons that America gave them to Hamas terrorist organization. Should NATO or the U.S. do anything about this?
I thought there was a lot of volunteer Arab fighters with Ukraine, as a matter of fact. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong about it at all.
Yeah, because, the traditional allyship of,
This is crazy shit here, Kurt.
Nazis and Arabs.
This is some crazy shit over here. This is an absolute spin the other way.
Ahead of the story.
I
think that's what it is. Who is that guy, Ed Krassenstein?
He's just a shit lib that's always putting out bullshit stuff and always blaming Russia for everything. But this is where we're at. They're going to politicize each angle of this. The left is going to politicize this. The right is going to politicize this. Instead of just talking about brass tacks and what's going on, the fact that the war machine just has too much craziness and gets these weapons out all over the world.
I thought it was, I was like, I could see Iran doing that until after Norman Finkelstein, because I'm like, it sounds just like some kind of prison break. Like you got nothing but time to think of a way to break out. And I'm telling you, I don't think people think of Gaza. They go, well, it's unfortunate. I've seen this conversation. That's why nobody wants to have the conversation. Yeah. Because it's like a nightmare. But I just want to know, if it's not that, what Norman Finkelstein says, what is Gaza? Is it not a prison? No one's allowed to enter or leave, right? For the last 20 years.
It's been a blockade.
So I don't know if people think blockade is like sanctions light or something.
No.
But I think it's just like, don't think about it too much. But a prison of 5 million people, I don't, if it was a good idea, why did this happen? It would have worked out perfectly, except for Iran.
Well, let me just say this much about the weapons, because the weapons can be coming from Syria. Once we know there's a ton of weapons just floating out there. Like I said, we were funding all sides. What about Egypt? Have we talked about Egypt? A lot of, they share a border with Gaza.
They warned Israel about this.
They did say that, right? Well, maybe they warned them because there's factions in Egypt which can smuggle weapons into. Let me tell you something. The top 5 countries that we give weapons to, Egypt's always in the top 5. Israel's there, Egypt's there, Latin America, Colombia's number one. You know what I'm saying? But Egypt, we give a shit ton of weapons to. They could have smuggled them in. There's going to be so many different ways and areas in which they can smuggle them into. So we don't know where the weapons are coming from. The issue itself is the fact that the war machine just gives out too many weapons everywhere to different groups. We fund the most radical groups. Those radical groups like the Mujahideen, ISIS,
You mean the job creators?
They're going to job creators. They can give those weapons and sell them to anybody.
No, I know. And then they blow up some people that countries most Americans can't find on a map. And then they find the debris with a big, proud made in the USA. I remember watching a special about it. They find the bomb pieces with USA.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're not going to stop that, can we stop putting our name on it? At the very least, if you're not going to stop handing out weapons like candy.
Yeah. So that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Great show today, almost 2.5 hours. Norman Finkelstein. We're going to have Misha read the rest of the super chats. I want to remind you all, if you haven't gone to my channel real quick, please do go to Craig Poster Jardula. It's a YouTube channel. Lahaina on Fire has over 43,000 views on it. It's been pretty awesome. I was just on Kim Iverson's show the other day. I get this platform to talk about it. I kind of took my mind out of it for a couple days while this was going on. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a show with Fiorella. Her new YouTube channel comes out tomorrow too as well. We've been demonetized on the Convo Couch, so we're trying to start other outlets out there. But I don't know if you know, Jackson Hinkle's channel was just wiped away.
What did he say that was the final straw?
I guess he's just too pro-Russian, or maybe he was riding around in a tank or whatever the case may be.
Misinformation about Ukraine. I have a question. Why would I give a shit as an American?
Yeah.
Why are you censoring on behalf of freaking Ukraine? Let's say he was spreading misinformation about Ukraine. I'm not allowed to do that in America?
Whether you like Jackson Hinkle or not, whether you think he's full of shit or cool, it doesn't make a difference. They shouldn't be taking down these channels. It's ridiculous. That's what America's supposed to stand for.
Also, America doesn't give a rat's ass about Ukraine, by the way. That's what's crazy.
They don't. Yeah, we'll fight to the last Ukrainian. Lindsey Graham, same dude, right? We talked about tonight.
His nipples
Nikki Haley, you don't care.
Their war nipples are hard right now.
Crazy situation.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Dallas, Houston, San Diego, Bloomington, Illinois, Indianapolis, and Levittown, New York. Wow, that's a lot of dates. See you there.